Alright, we're live. Oh, wait. We're not live yet. Okay. Stream doesn't like that. Okay, understandable. Let's change it. Hopefully you can see me. Yay, you can see me. Now my YouTube saying that it doesn't like the 480 resolution. But you guys can see me okay? If that's the case, sweet, we'll carry on. Let's put some music on. Do 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 do. Cheers, Shay. Right, so just sorting out all my settings. Right, so Scott's in the house. Who we got? Shay, Ron's here. Hello, Josh. JBC, how you doing, fella? Nice stream earlier, by the way. So I had to leave, but Logan needed me help. Broski, dated Hoski, long time. Still got the moves. My moves are rusty, I'm not going to lie. So I'm going to be working on those tonight. We've got the nice classic angle for some card work later on. So yeah, we are going to be on the mat, which would be cool. We'll get to that later on. Just for now, how's everyone doing? Been a while since I've been able to stream regularly, which is really cool. I've got some really big ideas for the stream, but I haven't got the hardware to do what I want the streams to do. So at the moment, someone's already disliked it. Have I already got a dislike? Easy Spike, how you doing? I'll tell you what, whoever that is, that one whoever that one person is that dislikes all my stuff, they are solidly into it. They're committed. I really like it. Oh, broski, I forgot I had the super chat back on. Thank you, mate. That's awesome. Thank you very much. Dollar well received. So broski Dead Hosky, has been a long time since I've seen him in the stream, but it's been a long time since I've streamed properly as well. So yeah, it is very cool to be back. So what I was going to ask you guys was, we're going to jam today, so it's going to be just, like I say, just there's no real schedule. But is there anything you want to go over? Any moves, any routines, anything at all that I do, you do, that I can maybe help with? Let me know. I want to make this something of a, not really a tutorial, more of a jam. Like I say, if I can help, then yeah, let me know, because I want to get into the cards today. Second deal. Now that's something I don't do. Now I'll tell you why I don't do the second deal, because this is actually quite interesting. The second deal, I've never learned it because I've not got a routine that requires it. So at this point I don't really need it. Ambitious controls I can help with all day long. Yeah, ambitious card. I am a big fan of ambitious cards. So yes, we can go over that, Josh. No problem at all. But the second deal, I don't like the second deal, mainly because people use it as like a way of showing that they can second deal. Do you know what I mean? Like, rather than sneakily doing it in a poker routine or whatever, they always do it as a demonstration of skill, which I think is a real shame. It's sort of supposed to be quite an invisible move, you know. His tunes, all of them, royalty free. Quite important. Quite important. Won't get flagged up. Oh, you use it for any... yeah, that's the thing. I mean, if you've got a card any number and you can get that card to the top and then second deal until they... that's one of the perfect uses for it. Absolutely. But because I use Myth as my card any number, it doesn't need a second deal. So, yeah, I've never... Like I said, never really had a reason to use it. Yeah. But ambitious controls, absolutely, we'll go over that. I've just realised I put my mic, so it's right over here. Yeah, no more 90 days, mate. Learn that lesson. I pay £10 a month now to have all of these tunes royalty free from where do I get them from? What's it called? It starts with E. Gone. Easy Robbie, how you doing, mate? Amazing pictures of your boy the other day on Instagram. Really enjoyed those. So yeah, don't forget we've got the display over here. So if you want to see any of the cards that are on the display, I know they're not in focus, but if you want to see any of those and go and have a look at the deck closer, then let me know and I'll go and get them. Do you work with loops? Any suggestions on not snapping them? I use loops, but I don't use them to the V1s. Yep, I've got them up there. I'll use those, that's for sure. I can grab them in a sec. So yeah, I do use loops, but I use an ITR if I'm doing like a halting deck routine. Just because I do a routine called Spooked by Nick Einhorn, where you're standing up and the deck's on the floor, rather than your hand being here and the deck being here, and you're kind of doing all this above the deck. Your hands are like way up by your hips, and the cards are on the floor. So I do prefer Spooked. So yeah, the only reason I use loops is if someone's holding like a cigarette or something, and then I do this, and it knocks a cigarette out of their hand. And also for PK touches. And really the only advice I can give is to practice with them. You know, when you buy them, buy 2 or 3 sets, knowing you're going to break the first 5, just while you're getting used to the you know, how far you can move them and stuff. But I certainly don't like to have the sort of pressure where, you know, you're having to split a deck with them, because that's when they do start pinging. Also, another tip with loops is to remember to take them off. That was my when I had loops on a lot. I used to, like now, elastic band on my wrist. I'm forever keeping them on, and then they get covered in lint and fluff, and you can just see them from a mile away. So yeah, really important to take them off when you're done with them as well. But yeah, I'm trying to think what cards I've got Monarchs in silver and gold. I've got V1, V2, cherries. I've got white lions, black lions, keepers, squeezers, paradigm deck, mint green, mint blue. I've got orbits V5. Ooh, what else have I got up there? Kingslayers. Nothing, mate, just started. I've only been going 5 or 6 minutes, so not missed much at all. Where did I get the shelf from? Now the shelf I picked up, there was a pop-up shop over Christmas last year, and they were selling tea lights. So the idea of the shelf is that they had tea lights on the bulbs, and then the bulbs would light the tea lights up, and they would just sell the tea lights. And when they were closing down, they were literally selling everything. They were selling the tables, and I said, look, yeah, he's selling that, and that thing was like wooden and crap. All busted up, and I said, look, I'll give you a tenner for it, and they said yes. So I went and picked it up, brought it home. Me and Logan repaired it, painted it. I got the RB letters from Hobbycraft, stuck them on, and just painted those, and they work with Alexa now. So Alexa, Lumos, so they light up as well, which is very cool, although one of the lights has been covered up with a cap. So yeah, it was really nice. So I can make it look all shiny and bright, or I can Alexa, Knox, turn it off. So yeah, it's all very cool. Really proud of that little thing. Me and Logan built that. Took us a weekend to get it all together, which is nice. Yeah, it's very cool. It is very cool. The music's not too loud over my voice, is it, by the way? Sounds alright in my ears, but I don't know what you guys are hearing. I don't know if I should start making those. You would say, I'll make them to sell them, and then someone will buy one. Especially now I've told everyone they cost £1 or whatever it was. Yeah, I mean, the pop-up shops in like shopping centres are great, because once they've done their 3 months at Christmas, they just want to get rid of everything and get out of there. So that's where I go, like the little Christmas pop-up stores that open up in shopping centres. Do you know what? When I first got it, when I turned it on, I used to go, yeah, but I've had it so long now. The lights around my desk also light up at the same time when I tell her to turn those on. So you can't see this, but I can change the colour to match the telly. So I can say, Alexa, blue, and my desk will change, which is cool. Yeah. When you said controls for ambitious card, It's just a way of like getting yourself 2 steps ahead again after putting the card back in a couple of times. Is that what you mean? Just getting yourself so that you're back into sort of second or third card down. I can show you the ones that are in the basic one. How did the behind the telly one work? So you can buy online for like 10 quid a set of lights that will just stick to the back of the telly and then go into a USB port in the back of the telly. Yeah, so they're like 10 quid. They come with a remote, so you have something like this. Oh, it's a bit bright, but yeah, come with a remote, so I can go, you know, red or green, I think. Yeah, blue and all that sort of stuff. So depending on what, and this works better when I do this. I'm gonna show you. So if I go for, so normally when I do the second half of my streams, I'll have it looking like this, so then you get a real nice nighttime effect on it, which is very cool. Yeah, basically they're just LED light strips, which are really, really cool. And all I did with the shelf to make it all fancy was to put, you can buy plugs. Again, Amazon had them on offer for a tenner, where you plug the plug into this plug and then plug it in, and everything becomes voice activated once you set it up with what's her face over there. But the only reason I can't have this cool lighting on, because if I was just doing a talking stream, then I'd have these lights for sure, but it doesn't do much for this, and then that makes them a little bit glary. So I'll put the big light on again so we can do, but you should be able to see now under this here, you can see the lights here are blue. So if I say Alexa red, you'll see under here should change to red. Yeah, so it's kind of cool. I can see the reflection on the box as well. So yeah, I mean, it looks really fancy, but if you've got, I've got my Alexa for green, I've got my, oh, Alexa, blue. Yeah, so I got that for Christmas like 3 years ago, and then, yeah, everything just sort of goes into that, so everything after that becomes like tenner here, tenner there, which is superb. Yeah, it gives the room a nice vibe, but doesn't do much for doing magic in this light, so I'll be right back. And there we have it. That's the sort of setup I have. I also have, again, like my setup is made of bits and bobs that I found from here and there. So I've got like my brother's old monitor here. I've got a really old telly that I've had for years and years, with my monitor in front of me. Yeah, and the rest is just, it's alright. It's just fun. I've got another gig in December, can't wait. Yeah, mate, gigging's great, and once you get into it and then start getting regular bookings and stuff, it is so much fun. Right, let's get into some card stuff. Now I've got to see if I can work this mic so that I can get it over here and you guys can still hear me, so give me a sec. Oh, I hope I can get this to work without killing all your ears. Sorry. It might just, it will sound a little bit different obviously because the mic's behind me, but yeah, it means I can do some card work now, which would be cool. I'll get my jacket on, which is daft, so I feel a little bit restricted, but we're good. So who was asking about the Josh? So is there anything that you already do to get the card second down? Because there are two ways to start when you do ambitious card. There is the tilt move, and then there is already turning some over. Orbit boxes here. This is something I've been working on today, so that's just there. No, the orbit box. I'll leave that there. There, better. Easy, crazy. How you doing, mate? Yes, Lorenko. Oh, I forgot to ask you how your thingy went. How did it go? How did your routine go? Sorry guys, before I get into the cards, I've got to hear about this. Hindu shuffle, okay. I'm going to keep this at this weird angle just so I don't have to change it back. Yeah, so Lorenko did a day at the Magic Circle and he had a beautiful routine. I want to hear it. If it didn't go well... Oh, by the way, if this starts to go out of sync, let me know. With the alarm emoji, but... I met Shay on Saturday, got to see his act in the competition. He almost smashed a ceiling at the circle. What did they do? Card on ceiling with an Omni deck or something? What happened? Card on ceiling with an Omni deck? Oh, Josh was there as well. Okay, so everyone was there. So, yeah, Lorenko, how did yours go? Because it was quite an in-depth, like method heavy, slight heavy routine, and I just really intrigued as to how your nerves were. Yeah, it went good. I have a part of Lorenko's card. I did it too. I did a cube routine. Oh, of course, a cube routine. Oh my god, what up, mate? That's when you're trying to be a little bit overconfident. That's amazing. Alright, Josh, Hindu Shuffle, I will... yeah, we'll look into that in a sec. That's great. And as Josh and Shay were there as well, unless there was like a massive mess up, which I can't really see there being, how did you guys think his went as well? In fact, you should all rate each other's. Josh, did you do a routine there or were you just watching? Had to restart. Nothing wrong with that. That happens. A couple of people have done that on Fall Us. Yeah, my routine out of sync. Thanks, Mike. I normally get about 15 minutes before the sync goes. So yeah, that's cool. Yeah, my routine was alright. The offbeat with the tear was enough to cleanly do the deck switch, get in. That's great. So was it like a competition? Was there a winner or was it just everyone just showcasing their stuff? Easy read. How you doing, man? You loved both and show you played it off with comedy. Exactly, and that's a really big a big thing in doing these things and things going wrong is that you learn when you're on stage, when you're doing close up, that it's alright. Things go wrong. It's okay when they do. And to be honest with you, having watched a friend of mine, Sam, did a stage show. I've done a couple of stage shows. They actually give you, if you don't have like 1,000 things go wrong, they give you really good comic moments, you know. So yeah, I mean, it's actually, they do provide some of the best moments in a show when things go a little bit awry. Obviously, you don't want like a main closer or a big party show to go wrong. But yeah, when things go slightly awry, it's fine. 10 out of 10. I framed the card Lorenko and my routine was bang on. And routine was bang. Shay was bang on 8 minutes. Yikes. I don't know time-wise how long it was. I'm sure you'll be alright, mate. And so you find out who the 6-7 people are. Have they not announced it? I take it. Wait, crazy. Was you the one with the burnt card torn and folded? Yes, that's him. That was Shay. That was Lorenko, yeah. Reed, we'll get to that in a second. Is it a card effect? Because we will get over to this angle in just a second. We'll go through some card stuff. There you go, Lorenko. That's Josh telling you your routine was great. No, not a card effect. Okay, we'll talk through it in that case. Oh, nice. You find out on Saturday. Well, mate, good luck to both of you. I hope your both your routines have got you through, which is very, very cool. That's great, man. And it's nice that Josh is here going, oh, Christ, was that you that did the... Already people are talking about the burnt, torn and folded card routine. Did you have a name for the routine, by the way, Lorenko? Pig cake filmed with Illusionist. Ooh. Is he... Oh, Piggy going a bit mainstream, is he? Did not see that coming. Man's got to eat though. A man's got to eat. So as long as he keeps his integrity, he'll be fine. I mean, I think he will. Mate, name the routine. Name it torn, folded, ripped one. That's what everyone's going to call it. That's what everyone. And the fact is, no one knows who you are as well because you keep yourself to yourself. So I think it's great you've got him with something so strong. Oh yeah, Shay, that must have been hard with that massive deck. Okay, Rubik's Cube and a jumbo deck. That's cool. I wish I could have seen these routines now. A little bit gutted I missed it. But good job all round, people. Man, that's really good to hear. Yeah, really good to hear. I don't know if I was any help, Lorenko. I was just kind of, yeah. My effect is a close-up confabulation type in a fortune cookie. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Confabulation I have some experience with, so I could be able to help you with that. Oh, Van has just come up with the most amazing name. Call it the Kraken, and everyone's screaming, release the Kraken. And Shay has framed the matching card thing. That's amazing. Josh, I should lecture there. I have lectured at the Young Magic Circle before. I don't really live near London, and because I do a day job, I work as a decorator now. So, like Monday nights, by the time I get home from work at like 8 o'clock, I'm just too knackered. I want dinner. I want to go to bed. But yeah, we'll see. It'd be nice if I could. I'd love to do it again. I think I taught PK Time last time I was down there in my 6-card routine, which was very cool. You only joined last year. Okay. Yeah, it's great down there. You've got the new... I got a jam with David Weeks during the break, which was a highlight for me. He seemed to like Shadow Coins and taught me a one-handed blank fan. Nice. Now, David Weeks was my drama teacher at secondary school, so he got me into Magic quite a lot. So yeah, he is Mr. Magic. So getting a jam with David is very, very cool. And I can't see who wouldn't like your Shadow Coins either, Lorenko. Are there segments? No, this is just a casual jam. I've not really blocked it out or anything. This is just, I'm just getting back into jamming, streaming. I did a stream last week and I was so rusty it was embarrassing, so I deleted that. So this is just really busting off some cobwebs. We'll probably chat for another 4 or 5 minutes and then we'll go over to the card table and start to do some things. So if you wanted to talk through your confab routine, now would be a good time before we get into the card stuff. Also, guys, there's 9 of you in, which is great. If you wanted to share this out, put the link onto your social media, that's cool. Get some more people in. The more the merrier. Muggles included. I'll teach you a little bit, but I find it's like if someone taught me how to fix a car, I go, and then I wouldn't remember it. You know, you have to study this stuff. So, yeah. Nice. Can I stream Saturday? I think I probably can. Yeah, I'll do a short stream Saturday night and then you guys can let me know. That'd be wicked. Yeah, so me and Scott got to see it a bunch of times because what I did, we filmed it for my Instagram page, and because obviously Instagram gives you 1 minute, we had to refilm it a bunch of times because it went over or it was going too quick, and so just finding that right pace to hit that 60-second mark was crazy. Did it a few times, but it also allowed me to get like the perfect moving angles and all that sort of stuff. Thank you, Josh. That's very cool. Very, very nice. Thank you, mate. Yeah, so it was. Are you going to Blackpool this year? No, let me finish one sentence at a time. I always do this. I read the comments and stop saying what I was saying. So yeah, we got to watch it a bunch of times, and like Scott says, even though we knew what was going on, you still couldn't see what he was doing. Like there were times when he was doing this crossover move where I was just like, he can't have done it that time, and he did. It was just so good. And the easy Brian, how you doing, mate? Has the stream frozen for anyone else, or was that just Shay? I should be in pretty good health, but The stream has frozen. Yeah, I might refresh it as well. Oh, good, we're back. Yeah, I just refreshed mine as well. So my CPU is pretty good. My computer really struggles with the streaming, so I've got it on 4. That's why you got this little square, because I've got it on 480 so that it doesn't cane my CPU. So yeah, just refresh it, guys. Brian, great to see you, mate. I've been watching all your crazy stuff on Insta. It's so good, so good. So we're going to go through some ambitious card stuff in a minute. Easy Hulk, this is great. All the regulars are coming back. Great to see you. Yes, very cool. That's made me made me very happy. You full big pen, now you have to full thin pen. Let me try. I have to just allow that for some reason. Don't know why. So yes, it's there was one more thing I needed to answer, which was, am I going to Blackpool? No. So we're all meeting up. So the RB fam, as we're known, which is the guys on Discord, on YouTube, on Instagram and stuff, we all meet up twice a year. So we try and meet up in the summer, and then we meet up in January, February, around the time of the convention. So last year we met up at Blackpool. This year we're meeting at the session convention over in Heathrow. So a lot of people have booked their hotels already. We've got people flying over from Europe and stuff, so we'll have a big group of us, which will be very cool. Very cool. Yeah, so yeah, it'll be the session this year, not Blackpool. So yeah, we're going to get into some ambitious card stuff. Now, my ambitious card is quite, well, not simple, but it's not, I don't do knuckle busting moves to try and impress magicians with my ambitious card. And I think this is quite important on the channel, because I stopped teaching my basic stuff that I was teaching, and people were really enjoying, because I got into that stupid mindset of, you know, I need to do stuff for, you know, that magicians will find impressive. And it's stupid. I was ending up doing the Bertram change all the time, just because I thought, you know, magicians would go, oh, that's very nice. So I'm going to get back to basics on the channel, because I need to work on my basics. So I'm getting right back into, you know, I'm the opposite of Ollie Medium, basically. Ollie Medium's come up with new stuff all the time. I just want to show you the stuff that I use all the time, and it's very handy. So if it's a little bit, you know, you're already there with the technique and stuff, I'll be also talking about how I present it and lines and different things I use. Do you know what, Brian, right? I know it sounds really stupid, but when you actually go out, look, I've seen Michael Vincent go out and do table hopping, and he's not doing all those crazy moves that he does when he's sat down at a table. He's doing ring flight and ambitious, like, and card to wallet, you know. So there is certainly a time and a place, and I really want to focus on what people can go out and use. So yeah, my double lift needs work. No doubt about it. So let's go back to Josh, who asked about ambitious card and how to get back into in position, so you're, you know, 1 or 2 steps ahead each time. So let's have a little look at that now. Just bring this over. So as I was saying, I don't do a lot of Ed Marlowe effects. In fact, I don't really read that many books at all. Let me see if I can get a little bit of light on here that's not going to glare it. So when I do my ambitious card, I go in really fair. So the fairest way to get started, obviously, is get a card chosen. Now, even when I get a card chosen, I'm using this moment to build part of the character up. Let me just turn this music down just a smidge. Daniel Summerhays. You remember seeing, that was probably doing a 100-hour jobby, wasn't it? You're not the guy who came down and folded the pants off me, were you? With the effect, and your old man was there. Okay, so with the ambitious card, again, it's not so much about look, I can put this card in the middle and it jumps back to the top. That's not what I aim to do when doing the trick. It's more about yay. I've got to look at my comments over there and the screens here for the camera. So ambitious card wise, I'm probably going to need I use a duplicate in my ambitious card, not for the popping up to the top bit, but for the bit afterwards. So I've got another deck of these which aren't open, so I think I'm going to grab some bikes and see if I can show you. Actually, I'll grab some paradigms. I've got 2 of those that are open. So give me a sec, guys. Daniel Lloyd. Oh, why Lloyd and not Summerhaze? How did the... Oh, these are new. Oh, hello. I could just use the Joker as the dupe. Okay, so... Are these long lasting? These are amazing. These are really, really nice. Like beautiful cards. Really, really nice. So... I've done a big long review on these on my channel, so if you want to see some in-depth talk about these, have a look on my channel. The Paradigm review is like 1 or 2 videos ago. So yeah, when I start out with the ambitious card, I go in with a regular deck, which I add to later on. Okay, so for now that'll be in there. And I say, I use this line a lot. I say, have you seen Magic before? And they go, yeah. And you go, you know, what normally happens is you choose it, I find it, no one really gives a shit, right? So, or nobody really cares, depending on your audience. But this line just does a lot to separate you from what they're expecting to see and what they're used to seeing. Other magicians will just say pick a card. Even if it's ambitious card, they'll say, look, just choose a card or name a card. By using this, I'll show you something a bit different, because the other one is a bit dull. Everyone does it. It kind of sets you apart. It's something I've read Darren Brown write in Pure Effect, I think it was. Just saying I'm kind of a magician is what he used. It makes you look different from the pack, but this is another way of doing it. So have you seen Magic before? Yeah. Have you seen card tricks before? Yeah. You probably you pick it, I find it, nobody cares. That's what normally happens. I'm gonna try and make it a bit different. So instead of picking one, just name a card. Okay, so, and it doesn't matter that I see it. And now immediately that goes completely against what spectators, they're always like, take the card, don't show it to magicians. When you say, it doesn't matter, I see it, they're like, what the hell? Yeah, it's fine, I want to show you magic with the card rather than trying to find it. So let's say they go with the King of Clubs. Alright. So you grab your pen, you say, I want you just to write your name on it, and probably best if you jot your name down in one of these borders, as there's not a lot of room to write in the middle. And literally while they're signing that, this is the way I do it. I take 2 cards and I turn them over and hold a break and just wrist kill. So that's how I start my ambitious card. So I just wrist kill this back as they're signing, come in and then bring it back. So that's the first step to get. Now you can, if you want, be really clean and do like a tilt move. Again, the problem with this, it looks great when you tilt that card in, but I don't like to do moves where I can't be overly surrounded. Now I can use the misdirection of this to turn over the 2 cards. That's fine. What I don't want to be doing, because that's all done on an offbeat, what I don't want to be doing is putting that card back in on the on beat with that tilt and worrying that people are standing over my shoulder and it just being obvious what I'm doing. So it's about on beats and off beats. So with an off beat, I'm happy to do this move, even though someone behind me would see me turn these over, because I know the attention's on this person signing the card. And then when I get it back, I come in here. Now when I do the move, it's all done on the on beat and I can be really fair about it. So that's how I get set into the routine, and that's why I use a slightly yuckier version. The tilt move is more beautiful to look at, and it's cleaner and everything else, but the angles are not great when you're actually performing. Would I perform this routine sat at the table the same? I would perform it exactly the same, but I'd stand at the table. I would never normally sit and do this routine. I don't feel comfortable with my elbows up, so I'd probably stand and lean onto the table. But yeah, I'd do exactly the same. So yeah, that's the justification for that. Having someone sign the card will give you all the misdirection in the world for you to wrist kill this. A little blow on the card, make sure it's dry, come in. So now you're in the position to do the first one, but with the first one, right, when I do this, I put the first one in. I don't just do this and then do a double lift to show it back on top. Okay, I don't. What I do is once I've done that triple, once I'm here and I've shown the card and I do the triple, I say, listen, if I was to put this card in the middle and it jumped back to the top, would you be impressed? Now, what's great about this is that it covers you for 2 answers. If they say yes, I say, well, I can't, can I? I just showed you it's in the middle. It's physics, grow up. And that's the line I use. And it gets a great laugh. And it's done 2 things. It shows that you don't take yourself that seriously, that you're into the interaction with the person more than just showing off what you can do. But it also, they've psychologically admitted to themselves, if you could put the card in the middle and make it jump onto top, they would be impressed. Because you'd asked that question and they said yes. Look, if I put the card in the middle and it jumped back to the top, would you be impressed? Yeah. Well, I can't, can I? It's in the middle. I just showed you that. It's physics. Grow up. But at the same time, they've admitted to themselves they would be impressed. All right. Easy, Sam. So now, once you're here, all I'm going to do is push across and come back to get my break ready for the... I put it on. I say it only works when you snap. They snap their fingers and the card jumps back up. Now, it gives you good justification for putting that card back on top of the deck as well. Because to do this and then turn it over makes no sense whatsoever. So to put it back to say it only works if you snap, they snap and it jumps. Yeah. Now I can say maybe, and what I do is I play it down after every phase as well. I don't say, oh, make it like better and better. But I just say, look, maybe when I did that physics joke about you know, you needed to grow up and you laughed, maybe I did a move. So I'll do it again. The card goes in the middle. You snap. And it jumps. So you get the second one, which is a little bit fairer than the first one, but it's still not like blow their heads off amazing. So at this point now, you say, but maybe, just maybe, I'm cheating. Maybe something sneaky is going on, so I'll make it really fair. So now this is and this is all I think in either Expert Card Technique or Royal Road, but this is definitely, that's kind of Frederick Brow, kind of Hugh Garden Brow vibe, this whole first bit. So to get the next bit set up, I need my overhead camera for this, but I'm going to basically lift up at the back and click down 2 cards and then re-grip that, so I've got a 2-card thumb break. Okay, so it just looks like this. As I'm talking, I just do this, this, and this, and re-grip, and then I take that card off. You drop it so it's sticking out. This is the classic stuff. But you drop it so it's out jogged, about half a card. So when these go on top now, those 2 cards that you've got on your break, they will fall on top of that card. And then you'll swing this bottom bit. Is so hard to do slowly. I'll show you it in real time and then you can see what I'm getting at. Because it's one of those moves that's horrible to do slow. So you say, look, I'll do it in slow motion for you. So you can see your king. It's got your writing on it. This goes in here. These go in here. Now that's how the thing normally goes, right? And then they all get squared up. And then it jumps back on top. Now, the problem I have with this... Oh, God, I can't get a double. The problem I've got with this, again, is it a little bit too... a little bit too quick through the moves. That's all good, Shay. I'm glad you two are making a contact. It's good. So I'll show you the lines I use. I think these are more important than the actual moves. So you have the card on top, you slide it out, you turn it over, and you say, look, is this 100% your card? And they go, yeah. And you go, no, it's not, it's mine. That little line, honestly, gets a great giggle. Is this 100% your card? No, it's mine. Stop trying to steal my stuff. But as you say that line, and people have a little, you create an offbeat. And you don't need an offbeat here, but it's a nice moment just to give you extra time to do the move. So you flip this over, you push it out. By the time it's got out, that's why I did it wrong earlier. So you put the card face down here, and then you put these on halfway down, and you push, and now you drop those two cards as you turn it over and say, but it is your name. Well, that's my card, that is your writing. So it kind of justifies showing the card twice. Is this your card? Yep. No, it's mine. Stop trying to steal my stuff. But it is your name on there, right? And that is about, and then you just time this obviously as you turn, you time it so there's like a fluidity of movement. And what I do is I put this in and I side jog it like an angle. And then I regrip these and put these in here. Now the reason I do this is that you get this lovely image. And depending on what mood I'm in, I say different things, but sometimes I'll just say, so you can see where your card is. It can't be here because you can see it going in. And it's a real nice visual of that. Obviously the card's here, right? But the other time I say, now this is a moment of trust. I tell you the card's here. You probably think I've already snuck it to the top. I really haven't. You can see the card going in, no funny business, fair. And I use that card just to get it all the way in. I say fair and square, no funny business at all. And that just allows me to get the double again. And then you say, but when you snap, it jumps. And they've done it in real slow motion for them, and the king's back on top. And now you're ready for the pop-up move, which I say, look, I'll make it really fair. And this is a nice moment as well. With the pop-up move, obviously you've got to bend the two cards like this. Because naturally, if you bend two cards like this, the bottom one is the top one's got further to go. So you do get a little lip along the edge, always. And I don't like this thing. I don't like it. It just looks weird. Take it in shape. So instead, what I do is I turn over the double like this in my hand, and I point to the middle where their name is normally signed. Or if it's here, I say, look, if I put the bend across there and keep an eye on your name, and it keeps their eyes away from this edge. And then I push down. As you know, you push down, you lift up, you slide the top one off, keeping the pressure down here so you don't show this pop up. That goes on top. And then, boom, you get the pop-up move. Immediately drop these down. Because of the bend, that will land here. I slide this out, I turn, and I bend, and I'm back in all flat cards, which is quite important. So that's the first phase of the ambitious card that I do. It's the basic phase. I'll come back here and just see if anybody wants to talk through what I've just prattled on about. And then we can go into the second phase, which is where it starts to get a bit more impressive. So, any questions? Because I know I haven't got my teaching angle. And so it was a bit far away. So any questions you got, let me know. A lot of people do a spring to get the pop-up card back into shape and just mess up the rest of the deck. I hate springing. To spring enough to unbend that card, you've got to smash up the rest of the pack. It's much easier just to straighten the one card out. But like I say, it's more for me about the lines you use in between and creating those little offbeats that make it all seem like it's so fair, without having to, have done side steals for 10 years or whatever it is. It's all basic stuff, but it's entertaining as well, because a lot of the time people say ACR's boring, and it's not a boring routine. It's just boring people are doing the trick. So yeah, it just bothers me that people say that trick is boring when in fact I think it's a superb trick. Anyone who's practiced that for 10 years. I've been doing that for about 20 years, I think. Jesus, yeah, it is 20 years I've been doing that routine. I'd love to sort of show it to you, and I probably will when we go back. I'll show it to you in one go so you can see how it all looks, without stopping to show the moves, and you can see how it looks in fluid, and I'll do the lines and everything else. But yeah, I mean, obviously, the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll be with it. But it really is more about, as you're doing it, if you think of something really cool to say, remember it. All the lines that are written in that, none of those were written because I sat down with a pen and paper. None of them. All of them are there because as I was performing it, I thought of something funny to say at the time, and I kept it. Or I said something once it didn't work, I didn't say it again. I mean, I use all sorts of crazy lines when I'm working. Stuff that I wouldn't ever suggest other people saying. My hands shook once for no reason, just in one move. My hands were like this. I don't know what they were doing. And someone was like, "You nervous?" I went, "No, my heroin's run out." Popped in my head. I use it all the time now. Thank you. Yeah, so like I said, I'm not suggesting you all go out and tell people you're on heroin. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is allow your personality and your stuff. There is a full routine of this. Yeah, there is me doing this live, dressed as a decorator as always. But it is on the channel. I did a tutorial for it, which was like a paid for tutorial on the channel, and when I got demonetized, that then that stopped. Stopped being available for some reason. I had to refilm it. Do you write your lines after the shows, or do they stick? That's a good point. I don't write them down. No, they just stick in my head. At the time, I was doing like lots of magic, as in when I was going out, I was doing magic. When I was at the pub, I was doing magic. When I saw friends, I was doing magic. I was that guy, and I always did the same thing. And people say, oh, buy the new thing. But I'm like, do the old thing, but just do it lots. I think it's Bruce Lee said he's not afraid of a man who knows 10,000 kicks. He's afraid of the man that has done one kick 10,000 times. And it makes that really hit home with me when I heard that quote. So yes, the second half of this ambitious car routine is actually better in my opinion. This bit, I don't rush through it, but I certainly, I'm just using this bit to build a tension and build a crowd for when I do the second half of the routine, because the second half of the routine is ridiculous. Josh, yeah, this will stay up on the channel, so by all means watch it back. That's great, and thanks for sharing this on your Instagram, dude. Much appreciated. I'll download some more of these tunes. My pleasure, mate, my pleasure. There were magicians at the wedding I did on Sunday. There were guys there that knew about Royal Road, they knew about Elmsley Counts, they knew about glides, and like they weren't just people that had a magic set. They knew their stuff, and they still enjoy watching this. And it's not because I was doing it, doing moves that they didn't know. They were just enjoying watching the moves they did know done well. So bear that in mind sometimes, that it's better to just have the basics down like pat than it is to always be trying to perform something new. I mean, don't do 2 routines for the rest of your life. Learn new stuff, but for sure get the fundamentals down. I'm really enjoying going back to the basics. I've been like top changing all day. Not what people say is I've got a new t-shirt on every 10 minutes, but I've been doing the basic stuff again. Really, really trying. I'm not done any Bertrams at all. Did you ever do magic full time? I did, and I was crap at business, like really crap at business. Because it's funny when you do magic for a living, right? So it still should be a 40-hour-a-week job. You should be trying to sell yourself. You should be creating new routines. You should be working on old routines. You should be designing flyers, building websites. So there's so much stuff to do. And then for a couple of hours here and there, you do a bit of magic. But I didn't get that. I didn't get that memo. No one ever mentored me into how to do it full time. And yeah, and all I did was in my head, I'm like, I'm getting 500 quid for 2 hours, or I'm getting 350 quid, or whatever it is. Sounds like so much money. But when you're getting that much for what should be 40 hours work, maybe doing 1 or 2 gigs a week, it's not that much money. It really isn't. And so because you get it in such big chunks, you tend to. I was tending to spend it in big chunks. You know, like, so I was just terrible with business. I had like one phase where I kind of had it on, and then it all went a little bit because of Fall Lust and all that sort of stuff. And I wish I'd had a manager or someone who just said, look, let me deal with that stuff. Give me a percentage. I'll just send you out whenever I get you. If I'd had that, I'd be absolutely flying. So yeah, unfortunately, I just wasn't built to, especially back then, to run a business right, especially doing magic. So I did it full time. I'm very, very happy now that I work as a decorator full time, and I do this on the side. It's much more fun. Easy, Kieran. Glad you made it, mate. I was looking for your name. Yeah, much more fun this way for me. I don't have to rely on getting a gig in to pay for rent or fuel or, you know, all that sort of stuff. Decorating is just about covering all that at the moment. So yeah, I'd recommend people, like, really, it needs to be so busy that you cannot fit it all in because of your day job, and booked like a year in advance before you go and start taking this up professionally. It's a big jump, and it should be a big jump. And you've got to commit. You know, you've got to have a business plan. You've got to, yeah, Guy Hollingworth's got it the right way around, I think. You know, but some people love doing it. Some people love the business side of it. I hate wedding fairs. I hate advertising for work. You know, I like to get all my work by word of mouth. I like to get like recommendations and all that sort of stuff. So for me, I'm just sort of the way I'm built. It's better that I do it as a paid hobby. It really is. And you got the kids to 9:30. Yeah, it's not too bad. Logan was in bed like quarter of an hour before the live stream went up. So for once, I got him in bed on time, which is great. And he's not ill. He's not ill. I'm doing a live stream and Logan is not ill. Small miracles. I feel like getting some more of those gin lollies. They were well nice. Yeah, I'm going to teach my ace cutting routine on this live stream as well. Just the two routines, because I finally decided that my ace routine is different enough to what's out there that I can justify teaching it with crediting. So with that in mind, yeah, I'm going to teach it. I've just made that decision just now. Yeah, I think it's okay. I'm going to try and keep this to 90 minutes tops, because I want people to watch it back and not go, 4 hours. But when I do get to 400 followers on Instagram, I will be doing an Instagram live for 400 minutes straight, which I think is like 6.5 hours or something. So, but that will be on Instagram, not here, just because it's an Instagram follow number that I'm going for. But what I will do after this, if you guys that are on Discord, excuse me, I didn't mean to burp into the thing. You guys are on Discord, if you are up for it, we can have a jam afterwards and talk through the pocket management and all that stuff that we were supposed to do the other day. Well, Kieran, I did think about this as well. With my new life situation, that probably is possible. Yeah, Scott's just come in with the going professional. Have a full year's earnings that you can survive on, so you're not panicking about earning. Absolutely. Do your day job until you've saved up whatever it is, 20, 30 grand, and then you go full time, so you can really focus on it without having to worry about money. Absolutely. 100% agree with that. Yeah, like I say, I've got so many regrets business-wise. I put myself in a huge hole of spiraling debt and borrowing and stuff, which I'm still climbing out of. So, yes, but now that I'm doing the decorating and stuff, I'm going that way, which is good. Christ, I'll be like 40 years old by the time I'm out of all this stuff. But again, 40 years is fine. You know, it's only 2 years away, and I can life starts at 40, as they say. I can live with that. But yeah, 100-hour stream is not out of the question. With, like I say, when I get my own place. Are you thinking of doing a show? Yes, I'm doing my live show, Deja Vu, again. I've just found a couple of theatres in Kent which will put it on. So yeah, that's all in the mix at the moment. But yeah, Deja Vu certainly will be taking place because I've rewritten the Deja Vu I did before. But yeah, the Bella's Batcave will be. It would just be great because essentially, it will just be basically a streaming room with a bed in it, like. Yeah, I could get back to Periscope. If Periscope is still a thing, I'm happy to go back on Periscope. I don't know if I'll be doing it whilst decorating anymore, because I think clients will start to get annoyed by that. That was funny, though. But yeah, I'll happy to get back on Scope, all that stuff. I wonder if I can Periscope on this. That'd be really cool. If I can use this software to Periscope on. That'll be slick. Alright, so let's get back into the second half of the ambitious card so that I can then teach you how to do the ace cutting routine if you haven't seen it already on Discord. And I'll do the credits that need to be done for that. Do you know what? I use more moves. I've just made a point. I use more moves that have been published in this ambitious card routine than I will do in the ace cutting routine. And yeah, I've got this massive fear of Paul Gordon going, that's my routine. Then I have of people saying, well, like, you know, all of this has been published in, you know, expert card technique and all that sort of stuff. It's weird, isn't it? It is weird. And that's not even based on Paul saying anything. That's just me assuming. Oh, watching paint dry and the Perry fan playlist. Oh, mate, I'm getting back on Perry. Absolutely. Gee, I forgot about how good that stuff was. Right, let's get us over here so I can see what's going on. When we spin. Okay, so we'll be in the position of the card having just popped up with a pop-up. That's where we are. So what you have is... I forgot to mention a bit at the beginning. Typical. Alright, so let's go back to the beginning, because I do a lot of moves at the beginning. I forgot. Nothing major. So at the beginning, when they choose their card, alright, King Clubs. Okay, pop your name on it for me. Whilst they're popping the name on it, I literally reach into my pocket. I pull out, I've got a whole just stack of duplicate cards. I use a big stack because the ones nearest my leg will get hot from my leg and they will warp. The rest will stay straight. Yeah, mate, we can get a Perry fam and the RB fam together. That'll be sick. So as they're signing it, I reach in and pull this card out and put it on top. I don't even palm it really. I just kind of bring it up and square the deck. So whatever that card is, I have a quick look at it. I have a peek. So in this case, it's a Joker, because I know I've got two of them, so I can tear these up and all that sort of stuff. So at this point, I go through the deck as I find the other one. I just hold that to the top. I then add two more cards to the back of it, and those are the two that I do the reverse and wrist kill with. Okay, so I've got these two that I've reversed, and I've got a set of duplicates underneath. In this case, the Jokers. It's going to be a wrench to tear these up, but it's worth it. So I'm here on wrist kill. So I'll go through the motions without teaching you. I'll just show you how to do it. So Brian, I'll get to that in just a second, bud. I'll get through this. But no, even if I got asked back onto Fool Us, I am happy with the draw. I got very lucky the second time. So yeah, I don't want the last time I was on Fool Us to be me not fooling them. I'll stick with the Fool. I don't think I've got anything that I think will fool them. Yeah, anyway, so you come back in. Listen, would you be amazed if I put your king in the middle and it jumped back to the top? You would? Of course you would. It's impossible. It's in the middle. I just showed you that. Yeah, grow up. You can snap your fingers, blah, blah, blah. They snap. It jumps back up. There's the king. You put it back in again. I'll do it again, but without the misdirection. They snap. It jumps. Will the repeat be in full screen? Don't see why not. Yeah, it's just going to be as it is now. So once you've done the first set of moves, you go in with 2-card thumb break. You show this, you flip it over to here, you put your hand this halfway down, you push it forward. Now remember, my justification with this is that 100% your card? And they say yes, and you go, no, it's not, it's mine. Don't try and steal my stuff. But you see how in that line I've done that whole move, adding those 2 cards on the back. Easy EU, I'm fine. I'll get through this and we'll have a chat. Yeah, so I think that's really important, this bit, that people don't really do normally. The moves, 100% your card, justifies turning it over in the middle. They say yes, you say no, it's not, it's mine, but stop trying to steal my stuff. Now, as you do that, I don't know why I fell off. As you do that, you say, but that is your writing. So again, you're justifying the fact that you're pushing it out and then turn it over to show them again. Because you're saying, but it's my card, but it is your signature. And that is about halfway down. And that goes in here. You can see it's about halfway. In fact, it can't be on top because you can actually see the card going in. Yeah, absolutely right. It's just timing the words to the actions. So they snap again, it jumps back up. So you can see already it's more entertaining. You come in, you turn, you say, look, keep an eye on your signature so you don't look at the edges. You slide, you show the pop-up card, and this goes up to the top. Right, we're here. So as this comes off, you hand them the card, it's bent, you drop the deck, which will drop to the bent card. I slip that out, turn face up and push it over the, so I just push it forward and bend it over the edge of the deck. This gets you all straight. No need to spring. No need to smash your deck up. Now what I do, I know what that card is because I put the dupe on earlier. I know what it is. So I spread through while they're still reacting to the pop-up card, which you know gets a mad reaction. And I will see my pair of dupes together. Sorry it's so glaring. Let me turn this down. And turn this away. It's going to get pretty dark, but you should be able to see the cards a bit better. Yeah, so you see my pair of dupes. I bring these over here into my on hand. I take this back off them. I take the bend out as I add those 2 cards on top. Now, I do all this as if the trick's ended. They don't know that I'm about to do more magic. That's not a thing they're aware of. They just think... That's pretty bad. Yeah, they just think that the pop-up moves the end, which it normally is. So in that sort of offbeat while they go, oh yeah, I've just managed to get the card back, put it in, and add the 2 dupes on top of it. And now I turn to another person and I say, listen, do me a favour. And I used the Classic Force this, right? And there was a way out if the Classic Force missed. Is anybody interested in me showing you that? So there's a way of practicing your Classic Force, or do you want me just to show you how I do it now? I will leave you with that while I look for my vape. Okay, so this is the year on how to practice your Classic Force. Okay, this is specific to this situation, but it's really, really nice in this routine. Sup, Solitaire? I'll be right there, mate. Okay, so with your 2 dupes on top, you're going to Classic Force one of them, okay? So you're going to just slip that into the middle. And again, I don't do this thing of, 100 cuts. I just slip it in. I just do what is the world's worst force of a card, the slip cut force. I just slip that in and get a break over it as I'm talking. I don't do it right in front of them. It looks pretty obvious if you go take one. But I don't like doing this thing. And also, I need the rest of the cards to stay on top. So I need these 2 cards to stay on top of the deck. So if I do this thing, and cut and then keep the break and then take the card I've got to then cut again afterwards, which is ugly. So I just, as I'm talking, I'll turn to one person and say, listen, I need you to do me a favour. So this is the Classic Force method. So when I Classic Force, I always Classic Force with the card that is under my break. Yeah, so I'm keeping my pinky on top of the card that's being Classic Forced. I don't do it face up, obviously. I'm just doing this so you guys can see. Now, the best way I can give you any tips on this is about movement and stillness. Okay, because you can time it so that you do this and then poke the card out, which looks really obvious. Or you can only keep one card still. So what I do is I spread like this. And then when I get to here, I leave this card still and then I spread these out like this. So that's the only card that doesn't move. And when they're looking for a card to pick and all the rest are moving, you're like, take, yeah, grab one. Yeah, so this card actually never moves. And it's a really nice way of classic forcing, because I'll get to the end like this, I'll go through, and even though there's no extra bit sticking out, and I've gone all the way to the end, they still take it. So I don't know how to practice this without someone to take a card, but that's the problem with classic forcing. You need someone to pick a card every time, but it's just a timing thing. So again, it's 2 beat force is what you're looking for. So they'll take it. So 1, 2, take. So I'm just 1, 2, and I'll time it so I land here. Yeah, so I know where that is. Spread 1, 2. This stops, and then these keep moving. Now you want them to have taken that by now, but you keep moving these this way. So this card these will all go that way. This will stay still, and these will all go that way. Simon Black said you should get those prank Halloween hands that jump out at you to practice. No, I say get actual people, because that's who you're going to be performing on. Not something that's going to... I know what he's saying, but that's assuming that people just go like that. They don't. You can control when they take the card, which is the whole point of the classic force. So I don't agree with that, even though Simon Black is technically much better than I am. I find just having somebody take a card and just getting the timing right and having the cards move is the only way really to practice it. But what I'm pointing, once you've got the hang of it and you've practiced it with loads of people, so you go like this, and let's say they take it, then you're in great position to carry on with the effect. But that's not what we're going to show you now. If they miss it, so let's put this in the middle. Yeah, so let's say they miss it. You know where it is still, so they take this card out. I know where it is because my brake's on it, so I'll just put it back on top. I won't try and do some mad undercut to get it back on top. Now all I'll do now is a 2-card transfer thing that Blaine does. Just literally, you've got 2 cards on top. So I'll do a bluff control under 1 card. So I'll say, just say stop. They do this, I say chuck it back in. So I've just got the 1 card here. Remember, as you bring that 1 card back, as in up and down, you then move the deck forward. You don't do this, because the eye will follow movement. So you come in here. So I do it so that it's the deck's vertical. When I put my finger in, I rotate to horizontal, which allows me to close that under my fingers, reach up, grab the 1, and I bring this forward as this comes down, and I bevel everything like this. Can you see how this is obviously a deck of cards? But when I do this, the depth isn't so easy to see. Yeah? And also it looks really fair because you're opening your hand out. So in essence, you're doubling up. You're saying, look, it's fair, just chuck it back in, not on. And you're hiding the depth of the cards with a bevel. So that goes back in there. Now what I do with this hand is I come straight over the deck like this and I dribble upwards. Okay, so it'll look like you're dribbling down. What you don't want to do is go on like this, come up, and then drop these down, because you've got that weird movement. But from here, I just come back and dribble up. So there's no kind of weird bit in the middle. So yeah, chuck it in. That's great. Thank you very much. They go on. Now, all you got to do now is do the 2 double lift thing that Blaine does. So you say, look, I can make you jump back to the top. We've done that loads of times. Pop that under your hand. We use the next card, which is, okay, the Joker, or whatever W you're using. Do the thing. They switch, and the Joker happens here. They react, which is fine, and then you put this back in, and now they've got this card, which is the one you wanted to force on them anyway, and you then get on with what you're about to do, which is to show the card that was chosen. You say, look, I'll tell you what I do. I'll rip this up, rip, and now we do the David Williamson torn and restored transpo. So you say, the card you chose, what was that on? And they'll say, oh, 2 a spell, whatever your dupe is, in this case a Joker. I say, now listen. I don't use the push off double. I like the get ready turn over 1. I've always used it, never been a problem. Yeah, so I'm happy with a break. And now I say, listen, I can do this fast or I can do it slow. I will leave it up, and on this I will leave it up to you. I do a top change. Okay, so this person gets their card torn up, and I say, what card are you holding over here? Now, if you just force this, that's where you'd be. You wouldn't need to do a little 2-card transpo, but when you miss it, you then do the bluff control and just do the 2-card transpo to get you back in position. And you say, listen, I can do this fast or I can do it slow. So you gesture, I can do it fast or I can do it slow. Without the innuendo, you tell me how do you want to do it. And that's the motivation for the top change. So I can do it fast or I can do it slow. Without the innuendo, you choose. And sorry, I'm trying to just looking at the camera. I can do it fast, I can do it slow. Without any innuendo, you choose how do you want me to do this. And you do the top change. Okay? Top change that back. So fast or slow. Without the innuendo, come back, you choose. Okay, so that's the I used to do this, you know, and do the shapeshifter and all that sort of stuff. But I find it so much nicer just to gesture with it fast or slow. You choose how I do this. It really is up to you. Because you're really clean at the moment it changes. At this point, it's still the Joker in their mind. They say, I'll do it fast. I go, you want to see it again? What? No, I just did. I took the pieces out of your hand. I've ran to my van, got some sellotape. I brought it back in. I've put it back together. I tore this one up and put it in your hand. And that's why I'm so out of breath. Don't believe me? And then here's the king. And in the hand will be the torn up duplicate of the card that you were just holding and gesturing and saying, look, you know, blah, blah, blah. So it's a really strong moment. And you're still using the ambitious card all this time, you know. So it's that ambitious that you tear it up and it still comes back and all that stuff. Then I Mercury fold this and just do an under the deck switch to fix this back together. But essentially, that's where the routine goes afterwards. And I will do a video on it where I've got better camera angles and lighting and stuff so you can see all the moves. But it's really nice because you can miss that classic force and still be right back in amongst it with a, you know, but to take the card. Yeah, the shapeshifter, there's a whole bunch of moves. There's one people are doing now where they literally just sort of flick it. Oh, there's a whole bunch of stuff that just looks. I just read one of a mini thanks Kieran, a mini essay from Ben Earl. Now I'm not normally into his mini essays. They're not that wrong with them, it's just not my thing. But this one was great. And it was saying, like, are colour changes any good? Any of them? Did any of them make sense? Or do they all look like what they are? A switch. And I have to say, you know, even when I do my Bertram, I want it to look like a very skillful thing. I don't want people to believe that thing's changing. I just want it to look like a really nice piece of skill. Yeah, Matt's always going to be on the stream. Thing's amazing. Thank you again. So yeah, for me, a colour change, I wrote this as a comment today on Ben Earl's post saying I would take a top change over a colour change any day at a gig, any day. I just think with a top change, the moment it changes is in their head. Does that make sense? The moment it changes is in their head. So if I do a top change with a card, right? So I've got the bloody jokers again. So I wasn't expecting to do magic on this camera, but if I'm here with a 4 and I turn up at the cards down, thank you, Kieran. It's whenever I change cameras. Are we good? The best time to do a top change is when you turn your stream off and back on. Definitely the best way. So, for example, if I do a color change, right? It's really too bright in it. But if I take this king and I turn it into a 4, right, like this. I know. This is the most wonderful time to do it. If I do this, it looks nice. But essentially, people are going to see that this is some sort of skill move. I haven't got the light set up for cards. I do apologise, right? If I do a Bertram change, it still looks like I'm doing something really sneaky with the cards. Right? All that fancy stuff just looks like I'm really good with cards, really good with manipulating cards, which is great. Nothing wrong with that. If you take a 3 or whatever it is, and as you put the cards down, they don't notice that you've switched it. In their heads, it's still a 3. So the moment it changes, is when you want it to change, when you're like really, really clean, this moment becomes a change, or it's in their hand or anything else. So I do find that allowing their mind to let them know when it changed is more magical, and to change it in front of their eyes is more skillful. So it depends what you're going for. If you're going for skill, colour change is great, but they won't look. I don't think they look magical. I think they look incredibly skillful. When Michael Vincent does his work with colour changes and stuff, it's just so clean. But nothing in my head goes, that's magic. Even when I was a kid, I'm just like, how has he done that how has he made those cards change? But yeah, when something's in someone's hand, like I do a two card routine, right, where they choose 2 cards each, and then they put them back in, and I tell them to pick a favourite. Here's another little tip actually on that. So the trick is to remember one and forget one. Easy Pilot, how you doing? The magic is in their mind. Put that on a poster. You see my point, right? So I have 2 cards each, and I say, listen, I've got 2 kids. One of them is my favourite, and one of them isn't. Now, it's not the case, but it's a great line, because they always laugh. And I say, obviously I don't tell her that. It makes her cry. And people will tell you they haven't got favourites, but obviously they have. My son's just better, right? And I'll say all this stuff. He just gets, everyone's a parent. They always laugh because they've always got favourites. I say, but as a parent, you don't say that to anyone. You keep that information in your head. So do the same thing with those cards. I want you to take, make one of those your favourite, and just remember which one your favourite is. Don't forget your other kid's name, obviously, but just remember which one your favourite is. Now, what this did, it made it more interesting to perform, because people were relating to the fact they got kids and they don't tell them even when they've got a favourite and all that stuff. And they go, oh, I haven't got favourites. I'm like, sure. So it's easy comedy, right? But you also get that lovely this thing of when you say to someone, remember one and forget one, and then you find the one they remembered, and then you switch it and give it to them to hold, and then you say, what was the other one? And they go, I don't know, you asked me to forget. And it happens to me so many times. I was like, this is just a real flaw. So I changed it to make one your favourite. Now, if you've got 2 kids and one's your favourite, you don't forget the other kid's name. And so by just changing the phrasing of it, by making it your favourite, not remember and forget, they always remember the other card. And I even say to them, sometimes my son is a bit of a dickhead and I change my mind and my daughter's my favourite for an hour. If you want to do that, you can do that. And again, it makes them think of the other card, and they go, no, I'm going to keep it. So it's just a real nice little way of just something to think about when you're putting your routines together. If you have a problem where people are forgetting cards, or maybe it's the language, and in this case it was, and yeah, on several fronts it just became a better trick, and I use it all the time now. That's psychology right there. But yeah, and now that routine's great. And the reason I was talking about that routine, I get back to what I was saying, is that so their favourite was Ace of Clubs. I go, amazing, and I top change it, right? So the card that wasn't their favourite was the 5 of Diamonds, and I hand them their Ace of Clubs. And they literally hold it like this, and they're looking at the card. And I'm not saying like hold it against your chest, put it in your pocket. I just go on to that. And they do. They hold it, and they hold it in front of them. And they'll swear they looked at it again. But there's no if you're doing it casual enough where you go, great, yeah, hold on to that. And yours. And because there's 2 people, I turn straight to the second person saying, yours was the... you put it in separate, you put them in together. Okay, so I'll get on with the move, and I find the other one, top change that as well, and I give them back the card. So now I've switched both cards, right? So I've done a colour change, which is great, right? So if I had then taken both their cards off them, and they were the cards I gave them, and I went and did some crazy side palm Bertram Simon Black madness change and changed it into their other cards, they would have gone, that was really like, you know what I mean? Like a couple of seconds later, they'd be like, that was skillful. That was really like, how the hell he changed those in front of us, we'll never know. But when you're holding the card, as you all know this, right? I'm speaking stuff you already know, but when you're holding a card like this, and you are absolutely convinced it's the Ace of Clubs, because you saw the Ace of Clubs, it was a big thing about it being your favourite, it gets handed to you, you then watch me find the other person's card, they get their card handed to them, and then you say to the person, right, listen, what was the other one? And what I don't do, I used to go 4 of clubs and the 3 of spades, and they were changing their hands. But what they did is sort of told them that I knew what they were, so I knew what to change them with. So instead, I say, listen, what was the other one? And they go, you're supposed to tell me. I'm like, I don't know. I found that. I'm just wondering, what's the other one? And they say, well, with 5 of diamonds, blah, blah, blah. And I say, how many seconds would you take me, give me to find the other 2 cards, one-handed? And they go, 3, 1, 2, 3, done it. And then I say, look in your hand. They will be utterly convinced that they were looking at the ace of clubs here. And when they then look again, and it's changed, okay, it is so much stronger, like so much stronger. So yeah, for me, timing and a top change and letting them do the magic and letting them sort of hunt for an answer is really much more what I would go for when I'm working. I still do colour changes, don't get me wrong, but if I had a choice between the two, it's a no-brainer. And that's all based upon, as we're doing a little bit of theory, I've got a couple of minutes left, the moment of astonishment, which is a Paul Harris idea, which basically made Blaine what he was. So very, very quickly, you know that people have boxes in their mind, millions of them, and inside each box is something you've learnt in your life. So I learnt that that's hard, that's wood. If I hit that with my head on that, it's going to hurt. If I bite it, it's going to break my teeth. Yeah, if I saw it, it's going to make sawdust. I've got boxes for everything that I've learnt in my life. And the longer that somebody holds, so when you do a trick, you give them a box. You give them something and they have to box it in their mind. The longer they hold on to this thing before they can find a box to put it in, that's the moment of astonishment. So the longer they're holding this trick, going, how on earth did he do that? Eventually it will go into he's a magician. It will go into that box. It will always end up in that box. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this is just yeah, Art of Astonishment Volume 1, exactly right. So this idea of boxes is just so important, because if you do a colour change with their card, they'll go sleight of hand guy, and it will go in that box, and that moment of astonishment will be a lot shorter than if they're holding a card. They'll honestly tell themselves, I looked at it, I was holding it, and then it changes whilst they're still holding it. They go, it can't be sleight of hand, I was holding it. So you're holding it longer, more amazed, more amazed, more amazed. It's just a magician, but I was holding it, more amazed, more. Do you know what I mean? So just having them create the magic in their mind makes the moment of astonishment just last so much longer. And that's what Blaine was so good at. When he didn't say a word, they would ask him questions like, how'd you do that? Or, what the hell? And if you say something back, you give them a box to put it in. If you go, how'd you do that? Quickly, nice answer, magician. When you just don't say anything and just stare, don't do the stare thing, that's Blaine's thing. But that reason that was so strong is because he was not giving them any information for their moment of astonishment. That's why he walked away. It's why it was so good. But just understand that when you're doing something like that, and you have an option of doing something that's skill versus magic, it doesn't always have to be magic. Sometimes skill is exactly what you want it to look like, and go with it. But just be aware of what you're doing when it comes to things like top changes and color changes, because one will be skill and one will be, it's not that it's magic, it's just that they create what happened in their head rather than they see something and dissect it. There's a completely different thing. So yeah, it gets to the point where every possible box disappears and they're just left with astonished. Exactly. If you can do that, then that's when you get that like very rare, amazing effect that just somebody will talk about forever. The only time I think there's probably two effects that I do that create that moment. One is the ESP routine I do, and I think one of those moments I created was whilst I was with Lourenco, Crazy Challenges. And PK Time is another one I do where years later they talk about the fact that I changed the time on the watch. So it's there's certain tricks that really, really dig into that Art of Astonishment, moment of astonishment stuff. Shan't bore you anymore, guys. We're at an hour and 25, which I think I'll wrap it up here. Hopefully you've got some use out of the stream. The stream's going to be a lot more like this now. Back to basics. If you also want to learn some card magic, off Marius magic here, He's in the channel. He's in the comments. He does a great thing where he's going through the Royal Road of Card Magic, chapter by chapter, and learning and teaching and doing all that stuff at the same time. So you can follow along live with him in his live streams. Follow his channel. It's very, very, very cool. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Solitaire, have you considered doing a Full Lust Magician reacts to Full Lust Magician's channel at all? I started doing it on this channel and I just got battered for copyright. I've seen loads of other people do reactions and I don't know how they get away with it. My channel is monetized now, so I'm not going to risk getting banned or demonetized again, so I won't be doing reactions just for that reason. Yeah, so I'll be back on Saturday. We're going to find out how the guys did in the competition, and I'll be doing a Saturday showcase. So I'll be curating videos this week of people from the RB fam, people from Instagram, and I will just be showcasing people's magic on Saturday. So I will see you then, hopefully, and yeah, get over to Off Marius and join me again on Saturday night for some more magic. Big love, peace out.